Welcome back to another episode of Susan LoPresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. This is the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan LoPresti, and today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Nidhi Pandya. And Nidhi is a highly regarded Ayurvedic doctor, women's health coach, author, and international speaker who specializes in holistic health and longevity for women. She's garnered a dedicated following of over 219,000 women from around the globe, hoping to learn more about her unique approach to aging and has been featured in Cosmopolitan, Vogue, Marie Claire, Better Homes and Garden, Healthline, as well as appeared on NBC, ABC, Fox News, and more. She just launched her first book, Your Body Already Knows: Intuitive Ayurveda 21 Days to Reset Your Gut, Sleep, Mood, and Health. This book landed #1 in the Ayurvedic medicine on Amazon, attracted bookings from top podcasts like 10% Happier. The book has received high praise from various thought leaders, including Deepak Chopra, who calls it a succulent guide for anyone seeking an integrative approach to well-being at all levels, body, mind, and spirit. Nidhi has become known for her modern, less prescriptive approach to Ayurveda and her proprietary inner climate framework, which helps people reconnect with their bodies, their minds, and their spirits, not just to treat symptoms, but to truly heal. She's helped countless women boost fertility, balance hormones, heal their guts, improve sleep, and through the methods and 21-day program outlined in her book. So without further ado, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Susan. It's an honor to be here.
You're very welcome. I'm honored to have you. I want to begin by asking you, because you're an Ayurvedic doctor, what that means, because years ago I went in New York City. There was a presentation being done in a doctor's office, and there was a doctor that was talking about Ayurvedic medicine, and I've always been interested in it ever since. So if you could just tell my audience what that's all about, that's a great way for us to start.
Beautiful. So, Ayurveda, the term means the science of life. It's the easiest when I tell people it's the sister science of yoga. But if yoga has to do with your subtle body and mind, Ayurveda has to do with the physical body and all its possible systems with a very vast scope. The reason it's called the sister science of yoga is because they both come from the same parent family of the Vedic tradition. Now, Ayurveda covers everything from treatment and prevention of diseases to childcare, to fertility, to longevity, to nutrition, to lifestyle and exercise. If it has to do with how do you make the most of your time on this planet,
Mhm.
Ayurveda has it covered. Most known, however, most known for its treatment modalities, and now for some of its concepts that mainstream medicine is picking up, that has become very, very famous in the last few years. Even bioindividuality is a concept that Ayurveda talked about first. But also certain things that everybody must have heard about, like oil pulling and dry brushing and
Yeah.
tongue scraping, ashwagandha, turmeric, bullet coffee. They all have their roots in Ayurveda. In fact, one of the most recent Nobel concepts of autophagy has its roots in Ayurveda as well. Intermittent fasting, all of this has its tremendous roots in Ayurveda. So it is a really deep science, a very precise science that understands the human body and how it can function well, human body and mind both.
Right. Now, it's been around for like 3,000 years or more. Am I
We
correct?
decide. That is absolutely correct. Three or four,
Yeah.
just like yoga, it's
Yeah.
been documented since that long, but chances are that it was around even before, Susan.
Right. Right.
And the beautiful part is that I've seen a lot of other cultures. I've studied blue zones.
Yes.
They didn't call the ways of their living Ayurveda. They align Ayurvedically because these are just laws of nature that exist everywhere on the planet. And Ayurveda documented them under something called the Ayurvedic science. But like more and more people are coming to the same conclusion. And traditional Chinese medicine has some really similar principles, but I suspect some of their literature is lost or not translated well because then it's not as comprehensive as Ayurveda. Ayurveda is very comprehensive for the literature that we have saved and has not been destroyed.
Right. So tell us about the three doshas.
So, that we're all not the same people. I mean, everybody listening to this suddenly feel comforted. You're not crazy. You're just different. And so example, Susan, you and I may eat the same foods, and let's say we're eating a spicy soup, right? I mean, I could react completely okay, or I could just burn out, and you could be completely okay, or you could just be like, oh my God, I cannot tolerate this. And for a third person, it could give a bowel movement. For a fourth person, it could give rash. So
Mm-hmm.
we know for sure that we have a different, everybody's body makeup is different, right? Ideally, honestly, we should all be the same, right? That's what my work is. That our life thrives in a certain optimum inner climate, what I call the inner climate. But our inner climate is affected, and usually it gets affected in one of three ways. The first way, and these are the three doshas. The first way that it can get affected is our body likes to start building more than it needs to. So it'll build more tissue, it will digest things slower, it'll build more plaque, it will build more sugar. You'll have everything will be bigger and slower in your body because it's just become a builder body. It says, I don't want to metabolize quickly, I don't want to move quickly, I just want to stay stagnant and keep building. And usually these types of people have similar problems, like they may have, they may be diabetic or pre-diabetic. They may have really slow, crampy periods. They may have more tissue than they like. They may even suffer from obesity, eventually from high cholesterol. They may be more depressed because their minds are not moving as fast. They may like to sleep a little longer and believe that their body needs this extra sleep when that's not the true case. That's one dosha. That's called the kapha dosha. The second is the pitta dosha. These people, oh my goodness, they are hot and fiery, and their body likes to metabolize quickly, transform. So their keyword, if the first kapha keyword is building, the pitta keyword, which is the second dosha, is heat, hot, metabolize, transform. They eat food, they're the ones who'll eat large proportions of food, and they'll just go to the restroom and they'll have bowel movements every day because everything is burning out in their system and they don't build much tissue sometimes. They're moderate people. But they also have a lot of heat, so they may feel acidic. They may have burning in their stools. They may have multiple bowel movements because everything is just like lava inside their systems. They may be more sensitive to this. They may not have all the symptoms, but some of these
Yes.
more sensitive to the sun because they're already so hot. So they may have freckles on their face, their hair may burn out faster, they may have a skin condition or skin rashes because their blood is so hot, and they may even be sharp-tongued and may have a lot of anger in their head. They are the ones who also burn out quickly in life because they're just burn, burn, burn in their minds and bodies. The third is vata, which is movement. They're just like scattered, everything in their body is all over the place. So, which means that everything is either a certain way, like they may be very energetic, they may be very tired. They are very scatterbrained, not organized in their minds. In their body, they may experience these symptoms usually go together: bloating, anxiety, not deep sleepers, dry skin, dry hair consistently. And when they were children, chances are that they did not put on weight very quickly and easily. When they get older, it's a different story. They may have poor quality, more tissue, and they feel very gassy in their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have brittle bones, and their body's neither building well, it's not metabolizing well. The ideal situation for all of us is we should be building appropriately because we build new cells and we build new tissue out of the foods we eat. We should be metabolizing appropriately. You should have enough heat in your body, warm-blooded mammals, that all the processes are going normally. And there should be a system of decay and dryness, because at every given point, there are certain cells that are dying and decaying. You have stools in your body that dry out and you need to eliminate them. So drying and decaying is a process that the body continues regularly, but you don't want it to be extreme. So you don't get into the vata phase, you don't become a vata. So ideally, we should be doing all of these three things in a moderate fashion and in a very appropriate fashion. But the truth is, we have this genetic history. We come from a lineage where God knows what our ancestors did, what war, what epidemic they were in. That's the genetic framework that's passed on to us, the blueprint. And then we continue to live a life that may aggravate some of what we have already. So
Mm-hmm.
most of us find ourselves in one or two of these categories. Now, it's not perfect. You may notice that you have some from the first dosha, some from the last dosha, and that can
Yeah.
happen often, right? Because we are such a big, complex body. There may be one dominant, there may be one second dominant. That's why I like to personally, in my own practice, I'm moving away from the idea of doshas and I'm going to something that I call inner climate, which is more comprehensible to people. So I'm just going to say one last thing.
Yes.
In that, the kapha climate, the builders have a cold and stagnant climate. So if I want you to think about a place that's cold and stagnant, nothing grows really well. The sun is not shining too well. It's all wet and mucousy. It's so cold and stagnant. The pittas are usually hot and humid. Think Amazon rainforest, it's like
Mm-hmm.
so hot and they're just slimy and it's just it's not like fun. It's hot and humid. I mean, I come from Mumbai. That's where I live. Now I live in New York City. Mumbai is hot and humid. If you go in April, forget it. And Vatas are like a dry desert. Think about a cool and dry desert. Maybe hot in the day, maybe cold at night, like how the desert is volatile. So
Yeah.
Vata is volatile and things are in all directions. So I like to bring that inner climate to people so they can understand their bodies. And they will also notice that their symptoms are like that. Like Vatas feel bloated, dry, exactly like the cold, dry desert. Their skin is dry and they may feel really cold, exactly like the cold and dry desert. Pittas may feel hot and humid and slimy, exactly like the hot and humid climate.
Yeah.
So I like to bring that concept to people so that they can understand what their body's climate is. Today, most people are inflamed. They're hot. They're either hot and humid or they're hot and dry, one of the two. And because we've all gone, inflammation is exactly this kind of imbalance of doshas.
But now, can't an individual be a combination of two doshas or sometimes three?
So we all have three doshas. If we didn't have
Uh,
all three, we would not be living. If your
okay.
body was not building, if your body was not metabolizing, and if your body was not actually moving and decaying and depleting what needs to be sent out, we would not be living. So we need all three doshas are very important. When they're in the right proportion, they support you.
Okay.
When they're in the wrong proportion, and all three could be in the wrong proportion, like something in your gut may be building really a lot, like you could be building toxins in your gut, and but you could have dry skin because it's not circulating well and it's all trapped inside your body. So now there may be high heat as well. So there's various pathologies that can occur. And this is the reason why I'm not married to the whole dosha terminology, because
Yes.
it get very confusing for people.
Yes.
But I still wanted to give a brief introduction to your audience.
Yes.
Say, like when people first get into Ayurveda, they're fascinated with this idea of bio-individuality. And that's correct, that while there's an ideal optimum inner climate in which our body thrives, and when you're in that climate, there's no question of disease, but
Mm-hmm.
most of us are not, and we may find a dosha dominance or two dosha dominances. And that's when I like to bring in the concept of inner climate so people can understand what's happening in their bodies.
So I know that there are tests that you could do online, and I always come out as three doshas.
Yeah, and this is why I say this is not accurate, right?
Yeah.
So take the test, have a little fun with it, and you'll feel really understood. You'll feel like it's therapy for the first 15 minutes, and then you'll feel like you've been gaslighted for the next 500 minutes, right?
Right.
Because these are just fun. Your body is very complex. It cannot be put on a test like this. When you work with the inner climate framework, which is what I'm bringing to Ayurveda, you can still understand a little bit more. I want to give you an example, right?
Yes, please.
I have a client who says, Nidhi, I am, hot inside my body. So I feel like I'm a pitta. But I feel so much phlegm and mucus, which is usually a kapha symptom, and my skin is so dry, which is a vata symptom. So does it mean that I'm all three? Now, this is what I'll tell the person, that your body has become probably hot and slimy. All your fluids, everything has become hot and slimy inside your body. And when things become hot and slimy, and of course, I'll go through more symptoms. I'm assuming the symptoms are acidity and all this heat in the.
Right.
And I'm like, when your body and your blood and your plasma, everything has become hot and slimy, what happens? It does not circulate well. Think about tar, think about lava. It's not going to flow like a river. So when you have that kind of tarish quality to your blood and your gut and your food substances that are digesting, they're not going to circulate and reach your extremities. So your extremities will feel cold. Your extremities will feel dry, even though you're feeling hot in the core. But it's natural that the circulation gets affected because of the sliminess and the lack of flow that can happen because of this viscosity. What can also happen, that's because of the pH balance, because of the consistency in the body changing, now the mucus that is being produced in your lungs is more slimier. And you notice that here, which independently you would think is a kapha byproduct, but it's actually not. It's arising from that hot and slimy. And I just had a call right before you, so that's top of my head with a client, which exactly this is what has happened. But she had so much hot and slimy, like her liver was so hot and overheated and become fatty, and everything was just fatty and slimy and hot in her body because we're hot-blooded, we're warm-blooded. So if everything stays trapped, it was blocking her channels, it was leading to excess mucus production, allergies, dry skin. So on a test, it would look like she has all three doshas. But the
Mm.
one that I'm targeting is, how do I cool down her gut? How do I cool down her liver? And once that happens, things will begin to flow again and all her symptoms will resolve.
Right. So what was she feeling besides that? Like, did she have symptoms of gut issues or
Yeah.
allergies? What was going
Yeah.
on?
There was clearly a lot of inflammation in her body. She had allergies, a lot of like like this. And like, we all produce mucus every day, and the
Yeah.
mucus should so good, it should just line. The minute the mucus is not lining your inner lining, and you're like feeling it in your nose and you're feeling it in all places, you know that the composition of the mucus has gone off. So for her, that had happened. For a long term, the composition of her mucus had gone off. It was more sticky, it was getting stuck. Instead of flowing through her entire ENT region, all this little narrow roadway, it was getting stuck. So I knew the composition, the pH had changed. But what was also happening, she had this heat in her gut, lots of acidity. And this is how her problems had started. Her periods were so hot and so uncomfortable and so blocked, like she would spot for a couple of days, feel so heavy, and then she would have a full-blown clots and hot period. So I could see that the inner chamber of the body, the gut, the digestive system, it was all really, really hot. But she also had dry skin and cold. She's like, while I have all this sticky mucus, why is my skin dry? Because the circulation is not happening, because everything has become slimy. Now circulation and moisture is not reaching your extremities, and that's why
Hmm.
everything is blocked. It's like a traffic jam inside. It's
Yeah.
not being able to, the moisture is not being transported to the extremities.
So how did she reverse that now?
For her, particularly for this particular client, she needs, her body's become really stagnant, right? Because all that slime, she felt so heavy, and because of the mucus, not breathing well. For her, I'm going to ask her to exercise the most, to start melting things, right? I cannot give her very hot herbs to melt it because her body's already hot. So I'm like, applied heat, let's go exercise. Let your body sweat. Let it start breaking down those sticky things that have happened all over. And we're going to change up. She's been eating really heavy dinners, very, that's her main meal, all this refined flour, which is again so sticky, excessive gluten again, which is hot and sticky. If you've ever made pizza dough, you know what I'm talking about, being sticky.
Hmm.
And gluten can be inflammatory. So again, that's hot. So we're going to stop all of that, like excessive gluten, excessive cheese, which is so slimy in the body. So we're going to stop all the slime foods. We're going to eat more during lunch when the digestive system is doing better. You have more insulin sensitivity. You have more gastrin, more digestive enzymes during lunch. So she's going to eat a larger lunch. She's going to eat a smaller dinner. She's going to reduce all the slimy foods. She's not going to drink anything cold anymore, because what anything cold does, it packs those slimy molecules, it tightens them, it contracts and shrinks them even further, and progresses the pathology. So, oh, and she's going to move more than anything. She's just going to get her body moving. And I'm pretty confident that within a couple of weeks, a lot of these symptoms will be resolved. I will add some herbs, but I will add those herbs after the 2 weeks.
Uh-huh. So what kind of exercise do you offer her to do?
For her, I will, because she's feeling so stagnated, I'm going to ask her to do fun cardio. She's stagnated in her mind, she's stagnated in her body. So I told her, go get spin, get on a bike, go for a spin class, listen to music, move your body, go for a dance class, do Zumba. Something which is symmetrical, something that has music, something which has fun, because she needs to get out of this stagnation in her mind and her body.
Yeah.
It could be another person, right, Susan, who's always overworked, who sleeps very little, and they may come to me and I'm like, you're so hot and dry. You've become like this hot and dry, burnt wire, always working. For them, I would probably recommend Qigong or restorative yoga or something that's really bringing that kind of what I call lunar cooler aspects to their body. But for this particular client, I need to get that slime broken and the stagnation broken first thing.
Right. So what about a woman who is in menopause or going through perimenopause? There's so many issues that go on at
Yeah.
that point. How do you help someone like that?
Yeah. So, I mean, if Susan, my book actually has such a great chapter on this and what
Oh,
happens, right? Because what happens in menopause is I always tell women we start out as grapes. Find a picture of yours when you're 16 or 17. You'll see your cheeks are nice and taut and your skin, we end up like raisins. All the juices,
oh,
collagen, the mucus, everything that's your breasts, everything that's juicy in your body is like dried out. And
dry.
then suddenly you have visceral fat everywhere, but all the juicy things that kept you held up and taut out of the window. And this is what really happens is like as we get older, and the other example I gave is we start off as an oil lamp. Think of a young teenager, fuel and fire, both. When you're 17, you have the fuel, you have the fire. Now,
Yeah.
and then think about that oil lamp burning through the youth. We deplete the fuel. Those are the things, the liquid that I'm talking about, the juiciness. The fuel gets depleted. And if you ever seen an oil lamp, when the fuel is done, it becomes very flickery. The oil lamp becomes very volatile, like hot flashes. And women become volatile and they become so dry, and then the fuel is gone. And now you have vaginal dryness. Because estrogen, which was our fuel is estrogen. It keeps us
Yeah.
juicy. It supports our breast production. It supports the lining of our uterus. As long as you're having babies and you need to produce that uterine lining, and you may need to produce milk, and you may need to produce amniotic fluid, estrogen is kept intact in your body. And the minute that juice goes away, estrogen goes away, this is what happens to us. But there's a lot of things that Ayurveda has recommended for that, right? And that's a whole different episode. But it changes the way you're digesting food as well, because when it has no fuel, you'll have no fire, right? If you have an oil lamp and the fuel is over, the fire is gone. Your
Correct.
digestive fire is gone. Your enzymes have become weaker. So you cannot eat so much from your gut. It's not going to digest it. So I always tell people, lighten your dinner. Just do soups for dinner. You hit menopause, you hit perimenopause, eat for lunch, eat lunch. Because when the sun is high, your body's fire is high. We're diurnal mammals, we're daytime people, we're not tigers. So your body will still be forgiving during lunch. But for dinner, eat soups. But I also recommend oil massages. Ayurveda brings oil not inside your body, but on your body. And,
Abhyanga, is it
and
called?
your genius, Abhyanga.
Yeah, I love Ayurvedic medicine.
Well, you know so much. So I say, Abhyanga your life out. But we also use oil in every single orifice, any hole that you can get it into. Nose, nasya, oil pulling. There's an eye procedure with oil, which you want to go to a center to do. The nose and the mouth you can do. There's oil in the ears. There's a way of doing that. There's oil in your vaginal cavity. There's oil up your anus. There's oil in your belly button. Any hole that you have gets oiled.
Oh,
So
I didn't know.
learn about these practices, right? Abhyanga, which is applying oil on your body,
Yeah.
easiest, super easy, everybody can do it. But I tell people you want to learn about these practices so you can do them correctly, you can do them right. And you can't go too wrong. With Abhyanga, nobody can go wrong, except for the fact that you don't want to do Abhyanga after you've eaten food. You want to do it before you shower and then get into the shower, basically. So that's one big practice for perimenopause. But there are plenty of other herbs like shatavari, like there are many herbs that you can bring into your life during those, which will help you to rebuild. They have phytoestrogens, and it'll help your body to support what's been lost. And sesame, again, sesame oil is what you use for abhyanga usually, or it'll be some herbal Ayurvedic oil where sesame is the base oil and there are other herbs added to it. And sesame is known to balance progesterone as well as estrogen.
Oh,
And it's remarkable that Ayurveda talked about. And it doesn't matter. If anybody who's listening to this, you don't have to be perimenopausal. You can be in any phase of your life
yeah.
and use it. We do it since day one. Since the day babies are born, they're lathered with this oil.
So sesame oil, so when you before you go in the shower, you put it on. Is that what you said?
You put it on and you massage your body with
And
it.
massage your body and then take your shower. And
That
when
is
you come out, you don't put the oil again.
Yeah, no, you don't put the oil again. And it's
Oh,
also very detoxifying because the oil goes into your pores and brings grime to the surface. So not only will you protect your skin barrier from harshness of the
oh,
water because the water is so harsh, but you'll also detox your body better. And you'll see there's very little need then and you'll have better body odor. You won't need deodorant. I've never used deodorant in my life. And I've never, I don't think I have any kind of body odor. Not that I've been told, not that I've experienced, but at the same time, it'll allow you to really have that really soothing, grounding experience. And you'll realize that your skin is shining and it's great after a few weeks. And you're more grounded and your nervous system feels better and everything else feels better too.
is there a particular oil, sesame oil, that's recommended? That,
So if you're getting plain sesame, you don't want to get toasted sesame. You want to get expeller pressed. But if you want to get an Ayurvedic oil, I'll say to get a Bala oil, Bala.
oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bala oil, Bala Ashwagandha oil. These are the two oils that I recommend for women in this age.
And could we get them on Amazon? Probably.
These days, there are so many websites. Just look for a good rating, look for
Okay.
source and then get it. You can't go so wrong with it. You're applying it on your body. You just want to look at the ingredients. You want to look at the expiration date. If the ingredients don't have anything funky, everything looks herbal and nice, no artificial fragrances,
Yeah.
and the expiration date is not 1800s, you're fine.
Let's talk about oil pulling. I love that. I love oil
Beautiful
pulling.
practice. Beautiful practice. I mean, not only is it's great for many, many reasons. Not only is it great for the health of your gums, right? Replenishing the microbiome, which is the most important thing. If your microbiome is right in your mouth, no cavities, no gum disease, no mouth odor, none of that will happen. But not only that, so it's great for your gums, great for your teeth, but it also tones your jaw, the muscles of your cheeks, which start sagging after a certain
Oh,
time. It also whitens your teeth.
yes.
So it just brings back the climate inside your mouth to where it needs to be. In fact, I've heard this from a completely like a white friend who didn't know what oil pulling was, and then just somebody recommended it without him knowing Ayurvedic. And he was the kind of guy because somebody recommended it to him because he was at the dentist every 2 months. He had something serious going on genetically with his teeth. And he started oil pulling and he didn't go for 6 months. And then when he finally went to the dentist was like, are you cheating on me? Like, how are you doing so well? Like, what's happening in your mouth? And all he did was oil pull.
So it's first thing in the morning before you even brush your teeth or drink anything.
No, no. You can
Oh,
brush your teeth, you can scrape your tongue, and then you oil pull.
oh,
That is the traditional order of.
okay.
So you can do whatever you're doing. You can brush your teeth, scrape your tongue, and then you take a good mouthful of oil and you can swish or hold. I like to swish. The more you swish, the better it is for your gum. You swish it. You can swish it from 2 minutes to 7 minutes. I like to take it into the shower. So I have oil before I go into the shower. I have a mouthful of oil. While I'm showering, I'm swishing, I'm holding, I'm swishing, I'm holding if I get tired. And when I come out of the shower, I just open the trash can and I spit it inside it.
Yeah.
You don't want to spit it in your sink. You don't
No.
want to spit it in your toilet because you'll be clogged. So I just put it inside the garbage and then you can rinse it with a little bit of warm water if you like, or you can rinse it with plain water. Just rinse your mouth and then you're done.
Okay. Tell us about the tongue scraping.
Yeah, tongue scraping to be done after you brush your teeth, not before. People think it's before. So when you brush your teeth, a little bit of the plaque also comes on the tongue. But what also happens is that as we go to sleep, your body is going through internal digestion and repair. And think about it, like if your body is like basically doing this metabolic process at night, there is some toxic waste, right? There's some toxic waste. It
Hmm.
comes and settles as a film on your tongue.
Yeah.
And as long as it's a film on your tongue, it's also going to make your digestion sluggish. So in the morning, you kind of clean that up. Just as you have a bowel movement from below, you scrape your tongue. So it scrapes your tongue, lightens your digestion, and also starts toning the tongue as well. It makes it more sensitive to then the foods that you eat. It gives the messaging, right? The transfer of messages from your tongue to your gut enhances as well, which means you're eating something sweet, heavy, sour, spicy. Your tongue gives your gut a message coming up, get ready, give me the right enzymes. So the tongue scraping really tones your tongue, enhances its sensitivity, its relationship to the gut, but also it's a detoxification process.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on to talk about your book.
Yeah, I love that. So my book, Susan, is called Your Body Already Knows.
Okay.
And it's based on the premise that it talks about everything that I talked about and much, much more, but in a very systematic manner, because it's based on the premise, Susan, that how come we, the most intelligent species on the planet, have forgotten how to live? If deer can wake up every morning without an alarm clock, knowing that they need to graze on this grass. Like I don't think deer wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, I have to wake up at 6:30 and graze on the same grass. No, that doesn't happen. Bears hibernate. They know when to hibernate. Before they hibernate, they eat big cabbage heads that I've seen when I went to Alaska. I saw bears, they were eating big cabbage heads. And I was like, why are they eating cabbage? Shouldn't be they eating fish? And they were like, no, they eat these cabbage heads right before they go and hibernate so that when they wake up, they can have a big bowel movement. I mean, they know what it takes, right? Nursing mammals will often say no to their favorite foods, but eat plants that are galactagos, which will help lactation.
Yeah.
When an animal is bruised, it will know exactly what type of sulfur rich soil to roll its body in to heal.
Wow.
So how did we forget? Like we're supposed to be so intelligent. How do we need to know to have Dr. Google or another expert for every single answer to our lives?
Yeah.
So, this book gives you a framework to bring you back to that wisdom. According to Ayurveda, loss of wisdom is the first cause of disease when you lose your wisdom. So, you want to maintain more information, less wisdom, more information, less insight, more expert, less confidence in yourself. So I started realizing that, oh my God, all of these women that I've been helping, I've been set up for dependency and despair unless I gave them a framework for them to learn about their own bodies. So I started using this in my own practice. I said, I give people a framework so they can understand these laws of the universe, these three principles that govern everything. And the minute you have it, you're connected to your wisdom. Now you can make your decisions in a more empowered, and I'm not even going to say knowledgeable, but I'm saying in a more wise manner.
Hmm.
Because you go back and you get connected to the source information of how our bodies function and how we're connected to the universe of when to eat, how to balance yourself. So my book is really based so for you to be the expert and not me to be the expert. And it's not for information, it is for wisdom. It has information, but through the lens of wisdom.
Wow. I love it. And it just got published.
In March,
So, what is the name of it again? I have to write this down.
your body already knows.
Your body already knows. I love that. I'll put it in the show notes. It could be purchased on Amazon.
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Neat.
I think this is power packed. I think you've asked me some really good questions,
Hmm.
and I think this is power packed.
Just one question. So, someone who's listening to this episode and they're curious now about Ayurveda, what's your suggestion? Do they seek you out or an Ayurvedic practitioner, or what's your suggestion?
So, Susan, the reason why I even wrote my book is because most of Ayurveda today is practiced very academically, where, they'll say, they'll give you prescriptions, but for herbs and your diet and lifestyle, but it's still a prescription. This you still are not connected to who you are. For example, you went to an Ayurvedic seminar and you loved it, but then you don't know who you are. You did the dosha quiz and you're like, I don't know what this means. I'm all three doshas. What does this really mean?
Right.
right? And that's all of Ayurveda that's practiced today. So this is the reason why I wrote the book. Honestly, without meaning to market my book, I would say you want to start by reading my book because you want to get your foundation clear first. I'm also on Instagram, my underscore Ayurvedic underscore life, where I post a ton regularly. I always post my information only if it makes logical sense. You can take it through your logical brain, otherwise, it's not prescriptive, as well as through the scientific brain, right? So these are my two tests they have to pass, logic and science, both. And then once you've done some of this, then if you go out and seek out a practitioner, you already have, like, you're not confused. Otherwise, people are left often more confused, temporarily feeling better in their bodies because they get an herbal prescription, but actually being more scared because they're like, oh, I don't know what got me sick to begin with, and I don't know what's going to get me better if I've stopped these herbs.
Mm-hmm. So you're located in New York City and you practice out of New York?
And Susan, I practice all around the world. I have a virtual practice as well.
Okay.
I work with women in groups as well. So
Okay.
I have a group coaching program. I have a private circle. I do one-on-one. I'm going to teach a big nutrition, Ayurvedic nutrition program, which people can also get a certification. And that's happening in October, November.
Very, very nice. So I would need to get all of your information, your social media, your website, all of that, so I could put it in the show notes. I'm in Bayside in Queens, so we're
Oh,
not far from each other.
that's amazing. I love it.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
This was
lovely.
wonderful. This was really a wonderful episode with lots of information. I'm going to buy your book for sure
Thank
because,
you. Thank
as
you,
you could
Susan.
tell, I do know a little bit about Ayurveda and I've been
I
interested
think
in.
you'll really, really enjoy it, is what I suspect from the intelligent questions you've asked me. I would love for you to leave a review once you've read
I
the book.
will.
It would mean a lot for us if you read, because I don't know what, like we've had so many sales, but people don't leave reviews. I don't know how that works.
I will. I
Thank,
will. I
I,
promise.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much. It was great meeting you.
Take care too. Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye now. Thank you all for listening to my podcast today. If this resonated with any of you, please kindly leave me a comment and also share it out with your friends and your family who you think that this episode may help. And again, thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until the next time, be well, stay happy, and bye for now.